Knew that you would have the right answer.
I was taught that one when I was
As an old science teacher, I would be glad to give you an A for that particular response.
Unchlorophyll rate?
Chlorophyll, no, that was it. But in any event, kids are always fascinated by the outdoors. They're fascinated by small things, insects. They're fascinated by snakes. They're fascinated by grasshoppers, worms, that type of thing. And I try to vary the articles every week. And sometimes it gets difficult because some people say, like I said, I walk into this one store, and the people who work at that store, no snakes. That kind of, the people don't like that. So, on the other hand, I go into other places, and they said, do more articles about mice or anything of that like small animals, small mammals that might be around. So it's kind of an interesting challenge, and I get a lot of responses from a lot of readers telling me they enjoy that, or that they may have seen certain things in certain areas. Is that possible? That type of thing. So a lot of the questions I get turn into me articles based upon
I can't hear.
Based upon what the people are requesting.
He says, pull over a little closer.
Oh, okay.
So they can get a tighter...
Just how close am I supposed to get?
A little more. I'm not going to touch you. I refuse to touch you. See, now they can get closer into us.
Okay.
So they can see the warts on our face. You know, that's the important thing.
Right.
Okay, and see that I haven't shaved, you know, but I can go 2 days without a shave and it doesn't show on the tube. Yeah.
This morning, I had a nice trip here this morning. Now, I've only come to Mayville, I don't know, a couple thousand times over the years, but I ended up deciding to take Route 5 for a more scenic route, not realizing there was a bicycle entourage going on throughout the county. 14 trillion bicyclists.
Yeah, Randy Burt, who's one of our big guys here, runs this program.
Yeah.
He's riding one of those bikes.
Yeah, well, they were all over the place, and not wanting to turn left into them and knock 100 or so over,
right.
I just decided to go straight and ended up in Erie this morning on the way here. So I had a nice
run.
I had a nice scenic ride.
Yeah, scenic route.
And while driving along the lake, I was checking out the waterfall and anything else that might be there. So it was an interesting trip here. And
you got here though. And
like any youngster though, how do you get started in things? Being a teacher for many years, working with young people, working with older people, there are people that have interests. Some people, like I said, I walk into one store and someone will say, I don't like snakes, please don't write anything more about snakes. Another place walks in and says, gee, I like little furry things, like small mammals, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I try to tailor a lot of the articles around what people's interests and questions are. And of course I have one advantage that Alan, I know, didn't subscribe to.
What's that?
Email.
Oh yeah, you know, back in those days, they didn't do much in the way of email, did they?
And probably, I would say, almost 50% of the article ideas come by way of email. Plus, of course, the young people today are very good at that. They not only email the content, but they'll also email a photograph or several photographs saying they saw this and such a location. Do I know what it is? Or they knew what it was, and is it possible that could be found in this particular area? So that's a whole change in whoever follows me in writing those articles.
We got a phone call.
A phone call?
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning.
What's up?
Good morning. Well, it's a beautiful morning. Get it in now, though, because we're going to get a few showers, or maybe thunder showers.
Yeah. What a crop of grapes we're going to have, I guess, huh?
Let me see. We're having rain. Is this something new?
I can't hear it. So.
She says, speak a little louder or something. Maybe you get a little noise up in here, guys. We can't hear it.
If I put my head up against Reed, I can probably hear it coming through.
She says we're going to have rain.
Well,
Okay.
I have two questions, maybe even three, for your guest.
Can you hear?
One is
better. Yeah.
One is, I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems that you don't hear as many songbirds this year as you've heard in previous years. And
you're not hearing songbirds. What's going on?
Oh,
what's going on?
I haven't. No one's really said anything of that.
Well, that could be, you know,
You usually, if you're seeing it, if you're seeing a decline in these particular species, you would suspect that a food source may be upset. It may be that which area of the county, instead of asking the community?
I'm in Westfield.
Oh, that's pretty specific. In fact, I was just there a little while ago.
A little village.
Westfield is an excellent, there's a very active group of people who are interested in nature. They report to me. I get, as I said, the one advantage I now have in terms of getting information is that I have the internet, and I get an awful lot of emails.
Right.
And I get so frustrated that I don't include a lot of the items because I just can't get it all in at one time. People sending me photographs of birds, of animals, other animals, of insects, of plants. I get a lot of questions. They'll email me a photograph of a plant. They'll say, do I know what it is? Is it harmful? And that's a big concern. As I said this morning, I got a little lost on the way here, and I ended up almost in Erie because I got in with a bicycle group, which looked kind of strange for this car of mine riding along with bicycles, but there's hundreds of people on the road, and I'm going to use this. I don't know how many people are watching, but be very careful today because of the bicyclists on the road. Apparently there's some sort of activity going on, and I wouldn't like to...
They're riding for wellness or something like that.
Well,
I don't know.
regardless,
I'm sure somebody could tell me.
wellness could turn into a disaster if they're not careful.
Right,
And
right.
the people who are driving around are not careful.
Someone also pointed out to me that they have noticed with their gardeners, when they are tilling their soil, etc., there doesn't seem to be as many earthworms. And I thought, well, maybe there's a tie-in with not seeing as many of a certain kind of bird and not seeing as many earthworms as normal. But then I thought with all the rain, the earthworms have probably dug their way down to Ethiopia to get away from this.
Do I understand you right? Are you saying that because they feel there's a decline in birds, we're not seeing as many earthworms?
Yeah, the other way around.
Oh, the other way around?
Right.
Yeah. Robins
Well,
eat earthworms.
there's
Probably
only-
eat
there's
the
aren't
earthworms,
that-
but if there aren't as many earthworms, I'm assuming they would go to find a different source, place to find a different source.
If I were...
That's just a theory. I've not really noticed that there aren't as many earthworms.
The last kind of animal I would want to be, an earthworm is okay because earthworm's probably a lot safer than a lot of other animals. I would not want to be an insect. Most birds eat insects, bugs, ants,
Right.
Grasshoppers, things of that particular nature. When we think of the earthworm, everybody immediately thinks of, which bird we've already mentioned.
That early bird.
Yeah, the
robin.
early bird gets the worm.
Yeah.
And robins do like earthworms. I've seen them pull them out.
Pardon?
And robins especially do like earthworms. I've seen them pull them out.
Robins snatch them right out of the
Out of
ground.
the
Oh,
ground.
yeah. Well,
Beat them up.
They and other thrushes. The robin is a member of a thrush family, and the bluebird is also a member of the thrush family. There's another bird called the veery, V-E-E-R-Y, that is a member of that particular family.
And I also have one more comment.
Okay.
Just one more. I like to go down to the harbor and watch the sunset and so forth. And I was down there with a couple friends, and we noticed these birds that they were, anyways, they were really big birds, and they had really crooked necks. So I thought although they were dark in color, and they had that white thing, that they were probably might be a different kind of swan, because I've never seen a bird that big that wasn't a swan. Well, come to find out, I did the research because my friend thought they were Canadian geese or Canada geese, and sure enough, they were. But they were really big. I guess there's one called a giant. But anyways,
There are black swans, incidentally.
but this wasn't. I went and looked it up, and it wasn't a black swan.
Okay.
But they were beautiful. But there was a lot more here, it seems, this year than there have been other years. And when I was doing my research, they said sometimes they don't migrate like they used to anymore. They just winter over close to where they are. Is there a lot bigger population of these are the giant?
Well, the dark bird, oh, what did I do here? The dark bird that you're referring to may be the cormorant. There's an awful lot of cormorants increasing along the
Well,
lake.
these have